Hello, my name is Marcus and welcome to Tabletop Reviews, where today I'm having a look at Happy Little Dinosaurs, the exclusive edition, because obviously I gotta have the exclusive edition, not a game from Unstable Games, so let's just skip all the faff and get to the table. Alright, let's set up Happy Little Dinosaurs here, get out the box, the rule book out the way. You don't have a central board, but you have a whole bunch of player boards here. Alright, and then you have a meeple for each. Let's just make a two-player setup of the two top ones. We'll talk a little bit about the other ones, because it does have a little bit of asymmetry to it. A little bit. Anyways, you flip it over like this. Bring out your meeple here. So this is the Bad Luck Bronto, and this is the Triceratops. Bam. Alright. Then let's bring out the two most important decks. The only two decks. Oh boy. So you have the first, the brown backs here. These are the player cards. So you put them in like a pile like right here. And like with most unstable games, you start off with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bam. Alright. And then you bring out these ones. These are called disaster cards. So get them shuffled real quick. Whoa, no, I just bent one of my cards. Oh god. Put it in the middle, let it down. Oh my god, I bent one of my cards. Anyways, you place it here and flip over the top. Disaster. Alright. Now the disasters, let's quickly talk about it, does add something. As you can see on the Bad Luck Bronto, this is a green one. So the Bad Luck Bronto gets +1 or -1 on reds. The Triceratops gets -1 on greens and +1 on blues. Then you have the Nervous Rex that gets +1 on reds, -1 on blues. The Stegosaurus gets +1 on meteors. I'll make sure to show you a meteor in just a second. And then you have the two here, the Raging Raptor and the Pterodactyl. They have the sort of the same, just opposite. Raging Raptor gets +2 on reds, -1 on green and blue. Pterodactyl gets -2 on green, +1 on blue and red. So a little bit of asymmetry to your gameplay. A little bit. Anyways, again, sort of only consists of two phases. First, you choose a card to play, a number card to play. So this one, not in play right now. So you have these cards right here. They have a base value here, but some of them might have an ability. These don't, but this one does have an ability. So you choose one to play, and let's just do it simple. You play it face down. Your opponent, just make sure that he chooses a point cards. Well, actually, let's do this one. Does the same. Then at the same time, you reveal. Oh no, your opponent has an 8, and we only have a 7. Now in the real phase, you would quickly ask, does anyone have some cards they want to play? And this is where the exclamation point cards come into play. This one is good. Play this card during scoring, add 2 points to any player score this round, and you can kind of play it like this. To say, I'm adding 2 points to my score. And now I'm on a 9, you're on an 8. But this guy also had one. Let's just quickly see. Okay, this is interesting. Play this card. If you would add the card to a disaster area this round, collect 5 points. So that's pretty decent. So you play this one down. Because you are going to collect the disaster. Anyways, once everybody has played the scoring cards and their extra cards they can play during scoring, there are some of them, these exclamation cards, that say that you should not, actually this one shouldn't be played right now. We keep it over here. Anyways, this is over, 9 points, 8 points. So this guy collects 9 points, and this got his cards, like back here, whatever. This guy doesn't collect any cards, but does grab the disaster. Oh, by the way, completely forgot to think about -1 and the +1. So, legitimately, this one wasn't necessary because the scoreline here would actually be reversed. Because -1 and +1. I always forget, I'm so sorry. Anyways, so the guy doesn't choose to do anything, none of them can do anything. This guy collects 8 points because it's +1. This guy doesn't collect any points, but does collect the disaster. But then of course he has this fancy little one. If you collect the disaster, collect 5 points. So he gets a 5 points. And then you draw back up to 5 cards on your hand. This would mean 1 to me and 2 to this guy. And then you play again until someone loses. It's another green. Anyways, the way of losing is by collecting disasters. 3 of the same color, all 3 different colors, yes. So you have also red cards, and let's just quickly get a blue card out. That's meteor and a blue cards. And then you have meteors. This is a large meteor. There's also a, hold on 1 second. Okay, all the meteors are on the bottom. There's also, come on, where is one? The fuck? No. What the hell? Where the hell are all the smaller meteors? There it is. Alright. Anyways. Meteors right here. As I said, the one, the stego got +1 for meteors. So specifically it's the meteors coming in. So what these do is, this one has green and red, this one has green, red and blue because it's a large, this is a mini. And what they do is they are that color. So if you have, for example over here, this guy has 2 greens, this guy over here has a blue and the red. If either of them grab the meteor, they are done for. Because he would then have effectively 3 greens, he would effectively have 1 of each color. So either of them will lose. Of course this one would mean that only he loses because it's only green. Over here he would just have 2 reds. No wait, fuck, no. He would also lose because he then would have blue, red and green. Sorry. Yes. And that's the game. There's of course ways to mitigate it. There are some cards that mean that you take the disaster and put it at the bottom of the deck, you know, bottom. But basically, that's how you lose. How you win is of course the win symbol on top. Get 50 points and you win. Most likely somebody's going to collect 3 disasters before that, but it's a fun little game. Anyways, let's get to my opinions on the game. And back from the table we are. So, the gameplay of this. Well, it's another very simple card playing game. Sort of hand management, I guess. But in the end, it's just kind of hoping for something good on your hand, utilizing the powers on the right times, right? Saving that +2 until it's really important. And of course, remembering to keep out of those catastrophes. In the end, that game where you have cards and secretly choose one and then flip it over at the same time. It's sort of like Wrong Party, where you go 5 and then you flip one over at a time. Very interesting, and then you immediately go through the scoring phase where everything might change through cards being thrown around, these exclamation point cards, and of course with an expansion there's even more to do. So it's a very simple gameplay. Not a lot to worry about, just kind of making sure you don't get 3 of the same, 3 different. Saving them up to the right point. The game will usually, more often than not, end with someone getting 3 disaster cards and losing because of that, rather than somebody winning it with 50 points. We have played it until somebody wins with 50 points, but more often than not, you lose rather than you win. Or at least if you choose to end it there. You can also just say, oh, we're going to play until there's a winner. That depends on the group, of course. But not a lot to mention for gameplay here, you know. You choose the cards and then you reveal the cards and then you can add to the cards. It's another simple card playing game from Unstable Games. Always just a simple card playing game. So the components in this one is great. Again, you have cards which are always just a good quality card from Unstable Games. I really do like their cards. This time you have individual player boards, which are nice. I like how they half fold to show that artwork on the left. both as an identifier to know which one am I taking, but also just a fun little artwork on the side with, you know, the cry Triceratops and the terrified Rex, or whatever it is, a nervous Rex I think it is. These funny names and a few little tiny bit of asymmetry from the cards. It's interesting to keep a watch over, and it can change some things on their heads, flip some things on their heads, of course. And what else do we have in components? We have the little meeples, very cute little meeples, showcasing perfectly the one that it wants to show off the 6, and a cute little to move around on your scoreboard. And of course you have, most importantly, the artwork. In this one, the cutesy artwork is mostly on the disaster cards, not really showing up on the cards you have. They're more just funny things that are play on words, like the Triceratops, you know, play on words with the different weapons you can get or the abilities. But the cutesy artwork is mostly on the disaster cards, so I don't think the artwork is as forward as it is in other unstable games. But still really great. Theme-wise, so this I suppose is a dinosaur theme, and then yes, it's an unstable game, there isn't that much of a theme I suppose, but in terms of a dinosaur theme and you know, disasters, it makes sense I suppose, but not really, because the weapons you're using are very much human-made weapons and human feelings on dinosaurs. So it's another one from unstable games where the theme isn't really there. But it doesn't matter that much. Does it lie to you? 2 to 6 players, 30 to 60 minutes, ages 8 and up. So let's start from the bottom. Ages 8 and up. As I said in the wrong party one, I feel like this just a smidge more complicated because you've got 2 steps rather than this one when you're just kind of choosing cards. So why this is 8 and that is 12, I don't understand. I would probably put both of them at 9 or 10. Or if you're just gonna go with just 8, right? I don't understand why this is lower than wrong party and theater slay and stuff. I don't understand how you put the ages down. 30 to 60 minutes, fairly accurate again. But like most games, it depends on the players. How well do they understand the game? How long do they take to choose? But 30 to 60 minutes with people who understand the game is very accurate. It doesn't need to take long, and it doesn't. So that's great. 2 to 6 players. This is the great thing about unstable games is I think most of their games work at all of the player counts, right? 2 to 6 players for this one, that's perfectly fine. You're just going through more cards and having more to worry about, but it isn't really because that there is something that changed it, right? The wrong party was a little bit, but here to slay, how the dinosaurs, unstable unicorns. Well, tic-tac-toe works at all player counts, but it only has 2 or 4 players, obviously. So yeah, their games work at all the player counts just because of this simplicity of them, and that has to be a bonus. It has to. Like, I don't prefer this game at either player count. I just like the game, so that it's always a bonus with that kind of durability. That's not the word. That's not the word. So, what is this final score for this game? Well, I'm going to give it just beneath a really great game. It's going to be an 8 out of 10 for me, Have the Dinosaurs. We're putting it in there. It's above a meh, it's above a good game. It's a really good game. It's not a great game. I can't put something like this as a great game, I don't think. Because it is so simple, there isn't something to build upon and create opinion on. But simplicity is great in itself when you do it really well, and unstable games do simplistic fun games really well, and an 8 out of 10 is definitely deserved for such a really good game like Happy Little Dinosaurs. So I am obviously keeping it. Unstable Games is one of those where I'm just keeping all the games from them. I have everything coming and I'm going to have everything. A great game from Unstable Games, and that is another episode of Tabletop Tabletop Reviews done. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time. Bye.